Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I am back with my April book thoughts, so reflecting on the last month and how my reading was, and also actually probably reflecting a little bit on how my reading is going this year if I'm honest, and then looking at my May TBR, which is based on prompts that I pick out of jars and one that me and my mother have given each other every month. And also though, this video I'm going to be talking about how that might change a little bit because of everything going on and me being a little bit bonkers busy. Like after today, I start for the next 5 months literally being away from home every week and only back for 36 to 48 hours some weeks. I'm not even coming back because the libraries that I'm off to go and work with, when they're closer to each other and we're a long way from Liverpool, it's just cheaper and easier for me to stay away from home. So it's going to be a bit of a time, and I'm thinking about what I do with the channel and everything with all of that going on, but that's beside the point. But yeah, so I've got kind of an idea of a project for myself for the whole of May, although as soon as I say project, I'm like, oh, I fight against it. I've got kind of an initiative, I guess, a reading initiative-y thing that I would like to do over the whole of May. And if you want to join in, feel free. I'll be talking about that in a little bit after I talk about how April was for reading. So in April, I'm aware my glasses are a little bit glary. I've got new ones. I'll link them down below because I've got a discount code, but they are meant to be anti-glare and that doesn't seem to be the case. Anyway, so yeah, April. How was April for reading? I should also say I am doing this monthly. I started doing it like randomly looking at how the first month of the year have gone, and I've done it every month ever since. And I do find it quite cathartic. It's a little bit like therapy chatting to you in a video. Generally, actually, every video feels a bit like that, but particularly this one. Anyway, back to April. How was my reading month in April? Well, I read a lot of books. I read 18 books in total in April, and before your jaws hit the floor, or if they have, pick them up, fret not, because 10 of them were very short books. 3 of them were poetry collections that one thing that's great about doing the sorting the shelves videos that I do, where I go through and sort of reconcile everything on my shelves, is it shows me where there are cram shelves where I'm not reading enough. And I bought quite a few poetry collections because they've been on prize lists or just I'd heard great things about them. And actually I didn't have any space left. And I was like, no, I get into the habit all too often of getting books I'm really excited about reading and then not reading them, and then a whole room needs to be dedicated to them. That's a very lucky thing, and I'm not moaning at all, but I'm just saying we all do it to various different degrees. I'm sure, hopefully. Tell me that you do, please, in the comments down below. Don't make me feel alone. But yeah, so I read those, and also I did a video for Sky Arts Book Club, which will be going live. Sky Arts Book Club Extra, sorry, which is part of the Sky Arts Book Club Facebook group, where I do a video there every week, and this one will be next week's video, me reading 7 of these quick reads books in a week, so reading a book a day and seeing how I get on with them. Now, I'm not technically the target audience for this. Quick Reads is a reading initiative which is designed to get adult readers who may have been alienated from reading or be reluctant readers or just getting into it for the first time, to read novels by authors like Kate Moss or Graham Norton or Paula Hawkins, and then start like their reading journey. But at the same time, I do think they're fantastic for both when you're wanting a bit of a palate cleanser, if you read quite a bit, or if you want to try out an author that you've not read before. And I had some really interesting results with it. I won't say any more because it'll be in their video, but that's why I read so many. However, I found last month I read one particularly amazing book and a few really, really good ones. But a bit like this year as a whole, I'm finding it a bit, I don't know, I'm not having quite the exciting reading year I was hoping for, but then do we ever? And also not reading as many bangers as I was hoping I would. So that's kind of all got me thinking. The one big banger of April, and I'll talk about this more in my wrap up, but I want to dedicate a whole video to it, and I need your thoughts on when I should put that video up. I'll explain in a sec. Is Blue Hour by Sarah Schmidt. This is phenomenal. I should say, for full clarity, that Sarah Schmidt and I are mates. We got to know each other when her first book, See What I Have Done, came out, and I got to meet her and interview her, and we just like clicked, and then she's come and stayed here and stuff. And actually, in the dedication in the final copy, she thanks Chris and I for letting us stay here, and some of the dreams that she had in this very house, in the room behind this wall, this bare room there, inspired parts of the book, which, having read it, I'm like, oh my goodness, what was going on in there? I don't think I've had any bad dreams with her. Anyway, moving on. It's a book that I want to do a whole video for, but it's not out until July, which now isn't that far away. But I didn't know, would you like them to be when the book is out or when the book is about to come out? Or, because pre-orders are so important, should I just do it now and hopefully you'll watch it and see what my thoughts were? This book is not going to be for everyone. It's very dark indeed and quite triggering, and some of the stuff is really hard to read. It kept making me think in some ways of Yanagihara, and for some of you that'll be, oh my god, let me get that book now, and for some of you it'll be like, oh, I don't think so, but for me that's a whole absolute yes, and I thought this was phenomenal. So yeah, anyway, let me know in the comments down below, would you like that video pronto, or would you rather it was sort of later in like June and closer to the time of the book coming out, but before it came out? So yeah, and I guess, like I was saying, this year has been a bit, which is why I'm thinking of doing things very differently for May. However, I have been reading from prompts this year. I say that. I have had prompts to guide my reading this year. I haven't always done it. One of those is one that me and my mum give each other every month, which I'll come to shortly. And then the others are from 3 jars. One which has, all folded up, a selection of books either off my import shelves, so books that I've had shipped over from America, Canada, Australia, etc., or from my paperback shelves, where they're all paperbacks from before this year, so any paperbacks before 2022. They're the shelves that are the most crammed, and I seem to get through the slowest. So I took pictures of them and got people on my Patreon to vote for them, and then they've gone in that jar. The other one is I asked all of you lot to tell me countries that you'd really like to go to, because I want to read around the world more. And then the final one is a 1-word prompt that lots and lots of you gave me, and I put that into a jar. So matching those 3 jar prompts, which I pulled out on Patreon, so people know I didn't cheat. If you're a patron, you can vouch for me in the comments down below, I'm sure. But the first one off the shelves was The Prettiest Star by, it's not by Linda Taylor. The book was voted for by Linda Taylor. It's by Carter Sickles, and it's one I've been meaning to read for a long time. I know that Tom of Tom Reads Things really enjoyed this. I miss his content. I miss him, actually. I haven't spoken to him for a while. I need to catch up with him. I will. But yeah, he really enjoyed this. It's set in the 1980s in America around the AIDS crisis, but a lot of those books I've noticed tend to focus on New York, and I don't think this one does. I think it's set in Ohio and might be a chorus of voices, and I think it's probably going to make me cry. I love the cover because it does have that retro 80s feel, but also, going back to Yanagihara, this does have a little bit of a Little Life vibe. So yeah, I'm really keen to get to this one, so that's exciting. Then for the place, Sue J suggested Korea, and that's the prompt that I picked out. So another queer book, Love in the Big City by Sang-Young Park, translated by Anton Her, that was longlisted for the Book International. Interestingly, well, it's a bit of a generalisation to say this, but I think it's kind of true. I'm more interested in the books that didn't get on the long list than the ones that did, with the exception of Tomb of Sand. I'm really keen to read that. Anyway, yeah, set in Korea, queer. I'm really looking forward to it. I've heard it's quite a gentle but sort of slightly sprinkles of snark in it, which just sounds like my kind of thing, so really looking forward to that. And then the 1-word prompt was a bit of a tricky one, and this is partly why I guess I'm not doing prompts, obviously, this month, and I'm not in June, but I'm going to take sort of stock at the end of June, decide if I'm going to carry on with them in the second half of the year, because the first prompt, and this is no disrespect or anything to the people who pick these prompts, but the first one was Hygge by Linger Longer with Books, which is a fantastic account name, frankly, and that to me is not this time of year. Like, Hygge is the autumn when I want to get really cozy, and I'm going to be staying in a lot of hotels over the coming weeks. And I was like, you can't get that cozy in a hotel. No, you can't do that, but you can't get that cozy in a hotel, so that might prove tricky. And then the next one from Anna Adams that I picked was Better, and this one I really struggled with, because I was like, I don't have I should say for the one word prompts, I pick 4 titles or 5 titles and then get my patrons to vote on which of those they'd like me to read, and the one that gets the most votes is the one that becomes that month's prompt pick. But yeah, Better was tricky, and then I was thinking, oh, maybe I could read a book by an author where I wasn't that big a fan of the first book I read of them or the last book that I read of them, but maybe the next one will be better. And then I thought, I'm feeling a bit about my reading this year. That might not be a good one, although I saw Grace do that video and it was brilliant, and yeah, it worked out really well for her. So then I pulled another one out of the jar, I was going to say hat, which is Intrigue by Deanne Curto, and that got me to pick these 5 books. They're all the first in Thriller series. I'm not going to say any more on them because I don't want to sway my patrons if they see this. My patrons always link down below, by the way, if you want any extra content. Well, and there's extra content for free on Sky Arts Book Club Facebook group, where I do that aforementioned Sky Arts Book Club extra video every week with a quick reads one, and the latest one was me talking about my thoughts on the Women's Prize shortlist. Anyway, so my patrons haven't seen this post yet because I haven't written it yet, but these are the 5 that are going to be voting on. And then the last prompt is from my mother. We give each other a prompt every month, and hers for me this month was a book published in your first decade. #savage prompts if you are joining in. And the one that I've gone for is Up in the Air at the moment. That's not the title, it's because my thoughts on it are up in the air. I think what I'm going to do is, as well as doing the Story Trails project where I'm working with libraries on going out to communities and finding out amazing stories and turning them into AR and VR experiences that then go on tour into those libraries over the summer so that people can see the stories of where they live in a really different way. I'm also working on the BBC Big Jubilee Read, which is a celebration of Commonwealth literature over the last 7 decades of the Queen's reign. And so what I think I'm going to do is pick one from the 80s. Now, I do have Cloud Street by Tim Winton. However, what I love with that list is that, and this would be my thoughts regardless of whether I was working on it or not, I'm the creative programmer for some online events that are going to be happening. Once I know more, I'll be able to tell you all. But once I know more, I know a lot because I'm curating them, but once I know I'm allowed to tell you them, I will tell you them. But we've got some big names. It's going to be very exciting. I'm not hosting any of the events. I'm just having fun in the background, sort of sorting out lineups and everything. It's great. I'd like to do a lot more of that sort of thing. Anyway, but what I have found fascinating with the list is all the authors that I hadn't heard of, or all the authors that I'd heard a bit about but not really picked up their book, and have now gone and read all the blurbs of all these 70 books, and there's so many that I want to read. So that's why I'm like, it could be a different book from that decade's selection, because there are some that I hadn't heard of and some that I know very little about, and actually it's a poetry collection that I'm kind of keen on. But anyway, so that is all of the prompts. As I said, I'm going to see how prompts go over the next couple of months before I make a big decision on it, or I'll take stock and see whether I want to carry on. Maybe I should just carry on to the end of 2022. What do you reckon? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm asking for a lot of your thoughts in this video, but I like them. Talking to you is often, you probably don't know this, but quite like therapy, because I get a lot of thoughts out and it's really, really helpful. Anyway, I teased that May is going to be different for me. Actually, before I do that, I should say, speaking of prompts, if you are not joining in with it's been a really long week, sorry. I got back from Italy on Tuesday, very relaxed and chilled, came home, had to get changed very quickly to go and see Little Mix with Pip, which was very emotional because we've loved them for ages and it's their final tour. And then I had a dreadful fall and lost all the skin on my knees, and then had to fly out to Northern Ireland on Wednesday and only got back from Belfast. How lovely is this top? I do have a habit, wherever I go, I have to buy something, and I'm actually planning on possibly getting a tattoo in all the 15 different cities that I'm working with on Story Trails. Anyway, which is why I was out in Northern Ireland, because I was in Omagh. They're one of the libraries that we're working on collecting these stories for AR and VR. Anyway, that's why I'm a little bit, my brain's all over the place. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Kieran of KD Books is doing a TBR Tackle year-long challenge. It's really good fun. I meant to join in January and didn't, but I might join in in June after this next month. Maybe I'll do it for the second half of the year. Actually, that's probably more realistic. Anyway, it's a monthly. There's a monthly prompt from someone, and this month it's me. And I did something quite mean. Filmed on the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. So I will leave Kieran's channel down below so that you can go and see that video if you'd like to and find out more about the TBR Tackle Challenge. Get involved, have fun. And if you do it and start this month, then do send me your savage TBR piles. That's all I'm going to say. If you do it, I would love to see them. It'll make sense if you go and see that video. Now I am being a tease. Anyway, so and I talk about actually in that video, that I have decided in May I'm going to do, what is it that I've called it? Oh God. Was it Much More May? Much More May? Oh my goodness, it's literally gone out of my brain. More Reading May? More Reads May? Oh my Lord. Anyway, the idea is, why has that gone out of my head? I've been literally thinking and talking about it in like my head and then on videos for a couple of days. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, Must Read May. There we go. Blooming heck, that took an absolute while. My brain is this tired already. I've only done one library training day, and I've got another one in Dundee on Tuesday. I'm going up tomorrow. So when I'm doing 4 a week post mid-May, I think I might actually explode. But we'll see how we go. I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait to go out to all the different libraries and stuff and take you along with me, obviously, in vlogs. Anyway, so yes, Must Read May. Well done, Simon. And what the idea of this is not only am I only going to read books that when I finish a book, the next book I pick up is one that I just feel like I really must read, because quite often, I'm sure it's the same for quite a few of you. I'm not going to say all because I don't want to assume that makes an ass of you and me. But I will save lots of books for rainy days, and I just need to get on and bloody well read them. So that's what my plan is in part. But also, Must Read May is also Must Read More May, where I want to spend less time on my phone and more time reading, because I think that is slightly affecting my reading, if I'm 100% truly, frankly honest, which I always like to be with you all, in the fact that I have become aware that I will read a chapter or two and then check my phone, and I really want to kill that habit. And yeah, so that's something that I really want to focus on, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to it and see like how many minutes or hours or whatever I spend reading every day, and that will appear in vlogs forthcoming, although vlogs will be 2 weeks behind for a couple of weeks because I can't vlog in one particular week in May because secrets, which I'll hopefully be able to tell you about in due course. So I have picked my first Must Read May book, and if you do want to join in, like I said, please do, because I just think, why do I put off reading the books that I'm really excited for? Why do I do it as like, oh, it's a treat if I feel crap? It's a bit like I used to get into the real habit of rewarding myself when I was feeling sad, like with chocolate or clothes or books or whatever. And now I'm trying to be much more, trying to reconfigure that part of my brain and just be like, no, when you do something really good, you can have a really good treat, and it's actually really working. So I think I need to do that more with my reading, because also the other thing that I was thinking was, we'll soon be at the halfway point of the year at the end of June, and then I'll be like, oh, if I feel like this about my reading year, it's just never good. Because even though if I look back, I'm sure there'll be like 20-30 books that I've read this year that I've really liked, but when you kind of have a dull patch, I guess, or a slow patch. Actually, I've had a real slow reading week this last week because of all the things that I said I've been up to. And when I'm reading slowly or not reading at all, I get quite grumpy, and that can kind of, I guess, what was the word I want to use? It can kind of not ingest itself, filter into the pages a little bit of the book, maybe. Anyway, what book am I starting Must Read May with, now that I remember what it's called? The book that I'm reading is Maggie O'Farrell's The Marriage Portrait, which is out later this year. I'm so excited. I know these proofs are like gold, so I'm so appreciative that I've been sent it. But this is a book that I can guarantee you I would normally leave and not read for weeks. I might not even read until after it's come out, because I just do that thing of, oh gosh, what if like I'm so excited about it, and what if it disappoints, which I do not think it will, because Maggie O'Farrell book has never failed me yet. But also, I hope I haven't jinxed it then, but also like, or I'll be like, oh, just save that until I don't know, when I'm feeling a bit down after a holiday later in the year, or I don't know, when I'm at home and I'm just going to chill with it. And why not just do that now? Treat myself to it. So I'm going to be starting it after this video, possibly in a bath, because I've realised since I've turned 40, I've had plenty of showers before I say the next sentence, but I've only had 2 baths, I think, which is just what's happened there. Maybe that's what's making me grumpy as well. I'm not reading as much as I would like, and I'm also not bathing as much as I would like, but still washing in the shower. Thank you very much. Anyway, so that is the plan. I would love to know if you fancy joining in with Must Read May. I suppose I could make a hashtag for it, couldn't I? Hashtag Must Read May. But if you are, or if you're inclined to do so, please do so. That would be lovely. And I'll be back on tomorrow with a vlog, hopefully, if I can do lots of editing before I get the train in the morning. Travelling 7 hours for work on a bank holiday. Dedication. That's all I'm saying. But before I get that train, I would quite like to edit that and get it posted. If not, well, we'll see. If not, I'll be back with a book haul, an As Live book haul. I know, because I've already recorded that one. And then later in the week, I'll be back with a wrap up, so that we get April out of the way before the end of the first week of May. I'm overthinking this. I'm possibly oversharing. I've been on lots of tangents. This is, in essence, or the essence of Savage Reads. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you're all doing super well. Answer all the things that I asked you in this video that I can't quite remember. And also, let me know if you're going to join in with Must Read May. No rules, apart from just picking up whatever you fancy as the month goes along, which is part of the prompt that I gave to Kieran. Oh, I'm giving too much away. But do go and check out Kieran's channel and see what I gave for the TBR challenge. And I will speak to you all very soon. Thanks as always for watching, and let's have a chat in the comments down below. And if you're new and you fancy it, do subscribe. I don't say that, and I should, so I have. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.